Hey, this is Mariela from the Functional Company. All right, I don't know if you've seen this documentary, but it's called Root Cause. It was actually taken down from Netflix. It was very controversial. The American Dental Association did not like that this documentary was up there, but it's a very, very important documentary. If you haven't seen it and you have a mouth, you have to watch it. I'll probably repeat this like a million times because of how important and valuable that information is. If you're a healthcare practitioner, you have to see it. If you want more information on the mouth, if you're any person, you have kids, you have your own mouth, there's so many hidden things happening in the mouth that affect overall health. Very important to know what those things are and then how to handle them. All right, so in this episode, I'm just gonna talk about one potential thing that can happen in the mouth, all right? So here's the thing. We have each of our teeth that are actually connected to a different organ. They're connected to a different part of our body. And so we can have a hidden infection in a tooth that can actually create a problem somewhere else. It can reflect elsewhere. And I'll just tell you a quick story about somebody. A few months ago, I was at a conference and this guy stood up in front. He was talking about his own health issues. And so before he went up, you see this guy, he was like, this guy who was 400 pounds, a picture of this guy who was 400 pounds, very overweight, very sick. And then the guy went up to stage and he was just like 180 pounds, nice, strong, robust guy. And he told a story and it was incredible because he said it was like one thing after the other since a very young age, 18, 19, something like that, where his metabolism slowed down, his hormones went out of whack. He had a really difficult time losing weight. He tried all kinds of things, all kinds of diets. He did keto, he did, juicing, whatever. He did all kinds of different things to try and handle it. He went to this practitioner, that practitioner, and it was just like not getting handled, right? And then he started to have impotence as well, which was affecting his married life, as you can imagine. So it was a very difficult time for him. And of course, he started to get more introverted, lost his own confidence. It was just this huge snowball of things. And he just didn't know what was going on or how to resolve it. But he kept looking and he kept looking for something to figure out what was going on and what was the root cause of his issues. And so then he ran into a guy named Dr. Pompe, who actually helped him and helped explain to him that one of the things he needed to fix were his root canals and problems that he had in the teeth. So one of the things he had was like he had a pain in his liver that was constant, and so he had gone to a doctor before going to Dr. Pompe, and the doctor said, "Oh, that's your gallbladder, we need to get it removed." And so he was like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to get my gallbladder removed," and the doctor was like, "Don't worry, you don't need it." And so he convinced him to get the gallbladder removed, got the gallbladder removed. Didn't change anything. In fact, it made things worse. His pain got worse. He was just in this total, bad state he did not know how to get out of. And then he realized what he had to do was fix his teeth. So he went right for it and he fixed a root canal that he had. So once he actually got that tooth extracted where the root canal was, he said literally the next day my pain went away. And I was just like, that can't be. That's wild. So, things started to improve. He started to fix other parts of his mouth and his entire body it's like his metabolism just kicked back into gear. Lots of unresolved conditions that were rooted at the mouth were handled by fixing his mouth. But the thing with root canals is that root canals actually are, what they do is that you'll have an infection or you'll have a huge cavity. And so what they'll do is they'll take out the nerve and they'll clean out the infection, but they don't take out the entire tooth. So they leave a part of the tooth there. And when they leave a part of the tooth there and then they just close it, you can never get 100% of the bacteria out. And the bacteria can come from other areas because it's all connected and there are pathways to get there. So bacteria loves to burrow wherever there's not a lot of oxygen. So it goes there, creates an infection, but now you don't have a nerve, so you don't even know you have an infection, except that you might have an issue somewhere else. Maybe you have thyroid issues. Maybe you have back problems, or I don't know, it could be so many different things, right? But the root canal industry is huge. It's like, you know, I forget the exact number, so don't quote me on this, but you can watch Root Cause, and Dr. Jerry Curatola, who's a dentist, also has all these statistics. And so it's something like 40 million root canals that are done every year. 40 million root canals, and the average cost of a root canal is $2,000. So you do the math. It's a lot of money. And to admit that you're wrong on something like that it's a big step, and it's hard to accept. So I can understand why they might be fighting it, but the more important thing is just for you to get all of the information. If you think I'm full of, you know what, then just go research it for yourself and make up your own mind about it. My job is just to share information that I find to be very valuable, to be very important for human health, share that with you, and then you make your own evaluation, right? And then you decide what's best for you. But with root canals, at the very minimum, what I would say is watch the documentary Root Cause. Very, very important to understand, A, why we need to get the tooth extracted, what's happening if we don't. At some point down the line, you're gonna have an infection there that's gonna really affect your health overall, and so that needs to get handled. And then there's a correct way to handle it, and there's an incorrect way to handle it. But if you think about it, you know, if you had an infection in your, like gangrene, if you had a big infection in your finger, they would cut your finger because they don't want it to get infected in the rest of your body, right? And somehow in dentistry, we've just left a piece of the tooth there with a root canal, and we just kind of patch it up, clean up the area and patch it up, but we should extract it and let the entire area heal correctly. So there's definitely a good way to do this and a proper way to do this and an improper way to do this. But if you're getting communications from your doc that you might need a root canal, or you're considering it, or you already have one or a few, then definitely just watch the documentary, please, and make up your own mind about it. There's lots of information there, and then also how to handle it correctly. All right, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the flip side.